You certainly did. Who taught you how to play?
My fingers.
Your fingers?
But to me, when I hear a song, I just sit down and work out the patterns on the piano and on the chords.
Yeah.
Yeah, bua, 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 boom.
Well, if I tried that, I'd be bua, 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 useless. So did you always have a piano at home in Te Hapua?
Yeah, and the violin.
Oh, that's flash.
And the viola. Yep.
I don't know anyone who plays the viola. If I offered you a piano or a paintbrush, which would you grab?
Paintbrush.
He's an artist and an icon. Selwyn Muru is now 85, and while he no longer picks up the paintbrush or chisel, his art is being celebrated right now through his first retrospective exhibition.
The beauty of art, once you've mastered it, you can capture whatever you want.
Warner, how much of a challenge has it been to curate an exhibition like this, given Selwyn's huge legacy?
There's scope for multiple exhibitions on Selwyn's mahi, and each one could have a different focus.
Meet curator Moana Nepia, no slouch himself. Moana is a former ballet dancer, renowned choreographer, artist and respected academic. He is also Selwyn's stepson.
He's an artist.
He's an artist? What do you want people to understand about Selwyn through this exhibition?
The breadth of his vision and accomplishments and his originality of thought, his fearlessness, his audacity, and something of the connections to other people and communities that he was part of, the social movements that he was part of, his iwi, his friends, his confidence. He's never had a major retrospective, and so this will be an eye-opener for a lot of people. With this theme of he rākau taumatua, he te huinga manu, it's a whakatauki that likens a great leader to a tree that lots of birds will take shelter under or will gather to listen to the kōrero about this person.
Wife Peggy describes how he wooed her with his piano playing.
Makes me cry sometimes.
Oh, right.
Oh, it's just so beautiful.
Do you sing along with him sometimes?
Sometimes. I'm not very good, though. Not as good as you.
Oh, you're cheeky.
Peggy and Selwyn have been together now for over 33 years.
She's lovely, your wife, eh?
Too lovely for me.
Lovely, eh?
I've always said to myself, whatever I achieve was through her.
Yes.
He's one of a number of artistic luminaries to emerge from Te Tai Tokero.
There's something in the water up there, eh?
Yeah.
His is a broad and serious legacy. First, there's the art. His waharoa at the entranceway to Auckland's Aotea Square is a powerful landmark.
What did you learn about him that you didn't know before putting this together?
He has this idea of the land having been woven with a korowai of words. And in here you have mana whakaheke, hei korowai mo tātou. You know, that all of these ancestral treasures are there for all of us as a is a form of protection. That art of citation, of bringing to the fore those kinds of references is immediately parallel to what's done in academic context, where you cite your sources and you're bringing alive, bringing to the fore the wisdom of those who've gone before.
Selwyn and his contemporaries were passionate believers in the power of art.
They'll ask you, what is the soul of your country? Is it meat, butter, wool? No, the artists, writers, composers. They're the soul of the country. They're the soul of, they're the pain, the agony, the joy, love. Yeah, the soul.
He just loves quoting his whanaunga, Hone Tūwhare.
Yeah.
There let the waves lave, pleasuring the body's senses. And the sun's feet shall twinkle and flex to the sea eggs needling. And the powerless stout kiss shall drain a rock's heart to the sand bars booming.
Selwyn explains why he is a fan of Hone's poetry.
The choice of words, not a word wasted on the page.
Of course, Selwyn was a renowned orator in both English and Māori. He loved word plays.
One thing he said is, there's not enough whimsy in the world.
That's right.
Kāroa i tātou ki te hanga whakatau ki hou. Nā te mea, ko hanga hoha ngā tūpuna ora, ka tituroi ho, ka whakarongo, ka whakarongo iho, o ko rātou kōrero tonu e whakaputangi ana e tātou. Ka reo haka hea na ki tēnā. Engari a hea no tātou, ki na ki ei i ngā kōrero ātahui i wahunga mo i rātou ki a tātou.
A trained teacher, Selwyn would become a senior lecturer at the University of Auckland, sharing his deep knowledge of whai kōrero.
Moia tonu ngiano to hare, tō marae e te tini e te manu.
Ka maha rau kia te herepo harawira, e mihi ana, ne? Haere mai e ngā kōtuku rere atu. Haere mai e ngā rākau nunui o te wao tapunui. Wena e rā momo kupu katoa. I nāene uno, haere mai, tēnā koutou.
Being creative in every way was something he encouraged.
Selwyn helped establish the Māori Art Department at the Elam School of Fine Arts, always looking out for the next generation. Back in 1973, he and his whimsical mates set up Ngā Puna Waihanga, the Māori Artists and Writers Collective, to grow Māori contemporary art across all disciplines.
In a professional sense, they were artists and educators, and a lot of them also were mentors to future generations of people.
Artists, of course, can be challenging bedmates.
How would you describe his personality and character, Peggy?
Very passionate about his work, about life in general, but wouldn't be interrupted by anything else. He would just totally focus. Whether it was writing or painting, he liked to be on his own.
Yeah.
And so that he could just think about that particular thing. Yeah, and I respected that.
To me, Selwyn is an artivist. He fuses art with activism.
And also ancestral stories. So there's a body of work in this exhibition relating to the history of the Mātātua waka, its connections to the Eastern Bay of Plenty, and also up the far north. What's special about this place, Kapuwairua? Ai?
Well, it's where our tūpuna were born. Our tūpuna o Te Upōuri. And they were bloody powerful thinkers too. And they were first and foremost humanitarians and artists, storytellers. Some of the stories are so tall, some of the words are still flying up to him.
There's all these contemporary themes in his work, particularly relating to social justice. Here, his work protesting anti-nuclear testing using the poem of Hone Tūwhares, No Ordinary Son, and also the tragedy of that legacy with the stories relating to Te Whiti, Tohu and Titoko Waru. Stories that entangle us all in these complicated layers. He represented New Zealand at the first Johannesburg biennial shortly after Mandela was inaugurated.
Selwyn was acutely aware it was no bed of roses back home. Maori incarceration rates remain a stark reminder of the impact of colonisation and urbanisation. Selwyn recalled the very first time he visited inside a prison.
They recognized me. He said, what? When are you going to come in and talk to us? And I was so hurt because they should have been the first ones for me to look at our own. So I said to them, I'll be back regularly.
Selwyn became a part-time art tutor in the prison. After the break, the artivist who was a journalist. Welcome back. We continue with this profile of the great Selwyn Muru. His friend Wasi Shortland describes his respect for Selwyn in this lovely wakahuia piece.
Nā huri ana he kōrero kia here wini, ko te pātai tuatahi me whakautu e te tangata, he ha te mahi ka hore anō I mahi a here wini. Nā te mea, he ha nei te mahi tēnei au māku nei e whakaaroa ke, ko mahi a ke here wini.
Did you enjoy being a journalist, working on koha and working in...
Oh, hell yeah.
Why? What did you enjoy?
Because I did whatever I wanted.
Selwyn was a journalist who worked across newspapers, radio and television. His broadcasting career began in 1966. He produced and presented programs in both English and Maori for Radio New Zealand, interviewing the likes of Joe Hawke during the reoccupation of Bastion Point.
Joe, the Minister of Lands, Mr. Ven Young, states that he's extremely concerned about the meeting house being erected, and if it's not pulled down, the protesters would be evicted.
Well, obviously the Minister is evading the issue.
What was his special skill as a journalist?
I think relating to people, that was his strengths.
He, Don Selwyn and Brian Kirby established the first Maori training course for television. Prior to that, Selwyn was a director and reporter on the flagship current affairs program, Koha.
E ngā iwi, e ngā mana, e ngā reo. Tēnā nō koutou katoa.
Utu's premiere in New York coincided with the Te Maori exhibition, although this wasn't planned initially. An elder quipped, "Nā te wā." It was fate that did it. Both taonga came from the same source, Aotearoa, he said. A tupuna down the sidewalk, now me old mate Zach. Kia ora hoa.
This is Selwyn covering Te Maori in New York. Selwyn discovered a tūhoi security guard working in the Met.
The reason for the pistol is for the protection of the art. We have to have it in this museum. As you know, it's got a lot of valuable art in here. And I have to wear this whenever I come on the job. It's part of my job and part of my uniform.
Have you ever used it?
Just to warn a person, that's about it. Thank God.
He's always cherished the fact that he was able to meet some of the great leaders of those days and to talk with them and record things that they had to say.
Good evening and welcome to part 2 of this Koha profile of Whina Kupa.
Now, in her 90th year, Pina's passion for her people continues.
Only a few weeks ago, at the National Maori Leadership Conference in Wellington, she was challenging the Prime Minister, Mr. Muldoon. Nō reira te whae o ngā mauterene, te toka tū moana, te manu tioriori o te iwi. Māna rā kei te wahinga rokoe e tiaki, e mana ki ngā wākatoa.
She's one of the kindest, most generous kuia. So what I used to do, I always took kai along. And she said, what's in that pot of kai? He kina pe wahau. So your food and my food, they'll have a chat and they'll say, look, let's spread ourselves a bit.
Herewini Muru Paenga captured himself in paint, as well as those who inspired him. Hone Tūwhare, his former teacher, Katarina Mataira, photographer Ans Westra, who in turn captured him. While much of his memory has faded, his insights into te ao Māori, the whakatauki and stories he heard growing up are still there. So is his passion for language. Selwyn can still recite word perfect his favourite poem, even if those beloved paintbrushes and chisels have long been packed away.
That part is really no longer there, except for the piano.
What was Selwyn's response, Peggy, when he walked into the gallery?
He was delighted. He was surprised.
What do you think when you see all your art around here? It's all hanging up.
Good feeling.
Good feeling?
Good feeling because, you know, it's sometimes the real struggle to get it out.
He's not one to talk up his own mahi.
To me, an artist who talks about his own work is a born show-off. I always freeze and not say anything, so that they say, ooh, humble fella.
So Moana and others will say it for him, because Selwyn Muru has made a difference in so many ways.
So he's never shied away from standing up for what he believes in and really fighting for those important things.
Okay, let's go for a sprint.